What's going on? We are back. This time, I'm going to be bringing a special deck profile. I played at my store championship this weekend, 21st. Came in top four. We split. It was me running three-colored Ginyu, Scott Dashi running blue or green, yellow, Frieza, lemon, lime. That's the name of his deck. It's a golden Frieza, green, yellow. Tim Sweeney, who played blue, green Vegeta, and then David Pena, who played blue, green Broly. So throughout the tournament, I went 2-1-1 in Swiss. I started off 2-0. I played Tim Sweeney, who split top four. I lost in game three, close game. And then round four, I played friend of mine, DJ. We ended up going to time. It was a Ginyu mirror match. It was kind of awkward match. Honestly, went to time, and we got a draw. And ended up 2-1. In top eight, I played mono blue. Or no, blue-green Gohan in top eight against Calvin. Won that. Ended up playing Scott in top four, who I wanted to play all tournament. That's the person I wanted to play. I've been talking crazy to him all week, telling him that he's going to get these hands and stuff, like he's getting this work. So I was like, yeah, we all want to split and everything, but I was like, I want to play because I wanted to play. So he scrub only wanted to play one game, so didn't get to play the full best of three, but he ended up winning the one game, so I'll give it to him because I was talking crazy. But anyway, I want to give a shout out to Jordan Markle. He made this deck, him and Nick Brady. They made this deck, and Jordan piloted it at ARG Atlantic City. He got top four at that event and split. And then this list is almost the same exact thing, card for card. After speaking to Jordan a little bit right after the event, and then he uploaded his deck profile, so I'll link that also in the description, his channel, so you guys can go check that out from the person who originally made the deck, because I did not make this deck. It's just a friend of mine made the deck, Jordan, and then I played it at my local because I really like the deck. I think it's the best deck in set one meta. And let's get into it. So obviously, like I said, playing the Ginyu leader. The reason why you play this leader is it can awaken itself, just like Vegeta, which is broken. You can just sit, if your opponent can't awaken themselves, you can just sit there and you can awaken and you just get so much card advantage. You can just snowball the game so well. And then on top of that, he is yellow and Frieza's army, so he can play Cold Bloodlust because he's Frieza's army, which is insane. Cold Bloodlust is probably the strongest card in set one. And you also have access to Crusher Ball and stuff like that. So him being yellow and the Frieza's army is just the reason why you play him over Vegeta. Other than that, Vegeta's just better. He has a better effect when you take the damage. We don't play Ginyus in this deck. The only Ginyu we play is Goldo because he's actually just good. And he works with yellow in general. He's just a good card. So we play that. But other than that, there's no targets that we can hit for his effect. So it's pretty much just adding a card to your hand that you show your opponent until he flips, and then it just adds a card to your hand and you get double strike, which I did actually use. I use his flip side a lot more than I use Vegeta's flip side. I like it a lot more, but the non-flip side, I definitely think Vegeta's better. Getting into the deck. So as I said, it is three colors, so I'm going to split up by color. Starting off with yellow. I played two Mecha Frieza. Jordan didn't play this card. This is the only card that's different. He played two Vegeta Princess Speed. Before he uploaded his deck profile, which he talked about in his deck profile, that he would cut those cards. Me and him talked about that before his video. At first, we talked about it, and it was like put in a Sensu Bean, a fourth Sensu, or a third Sensu Bean, and a third Ultimate Judgment Jacko, just to have extra copies. And you want that two extra blue is nice, obviously, because that's why Vegeta he's blue, and it helps with the colors. And the reason he didn't play Mecha Frieza is because you almost never really have two yellow, especially that you want to tap. But I know that my local meta, not that many people play yellow. I know that Scott was going to play yellow, and my friend DJ, who played the mirror, was going to play yellow. But other than that, most people don't play yellow. So I wasn't that afraid of Cold Bloodlust or something like that. So I was like, this can, or Crusher Ball, and I was like, this can just abuse your opponents, and you can just snowball games really easily with this. So I wanted to have it in there for the option. Plus, I felt like I could just charge it for a yellow a lot of the time, where I don't want to charge, say, my 10K boosters or any of my negate stuff like Crusher Ball or Cold Bloodlust. So next we have 4 Goldos. It's just like the blocker for the deck. It's just better than the, say, green or blue blocker, Krillin or Kinkai, because it has an effect, and it works with Ginyu, so it has that added effect. Plus it's yellow, which helps with colors, obviously. So right now I think Goldo's probably the best 1-drop blocker, without a doubt. And I just think the card's really good. It's really good versus Broly, obviously. So it can help get rid of the early drop Broly if they play it, or it can make them play awkwardly where they can't play the 1-drop Broly until they're going to evolve in the same turn. And then if you hit it with Crusher Ball, or not Crusher Ball, Bloodlust on that turn, then they're wasting 5 minutes instead of 4, and they obviously didn't want it to get Bloodlusted. So it just really slows your opponent down. Goldo helps with the Vegeta match, which is probably the strongest, most popular deck in most metas, local metas. I don't think it's the strongest deck overall, but I don't think too many people are playing this deck. So 4 Cold Bloodlust, this card is absolutely broken. It's the reason why you're playing Ginyu. Being able to get your own effects and stop your opponents is just insane. And when your opponent doesn't expect this, even they can know it's coming and they can't do anything about it in a lot of situations because they're just using 4 or 5 mana, and you're stopping the effect, and that they still get a body on the board. But if you're negating like a Beerus or a Vegeta or something that's killing something, like they're pretty much just getting a vanilla body on the board, and that's what you're going to Bloodlust most of the time. Just really, really powerful. It makes them waste mana and makes your mana so much more efficient than theirs. Next, for Crusher Ball. Really like this card, obviously. It's super, super good late game. I played a decent amount, like middle to early game, turns 3 and 4 and stuff too, just if they played something that I really didn't want on the board, like a Silent Vegeta or full power Gotenks to discard cards in my hand. If I was in a good position to deal with it right away, I could just Crusher Ball and then kill it with my Awakened Leader or something like that. It also just helped stop big threats late game. Won me a match. I stopped a Mono Blue player's God Break Goku both games 1 and 2, and I also stopped his God Charge Vegeta with the Crusher Ball in game 2. So this card's really, really good late game, especially if they tap out. If your opponent messes up and taps out, you can abuse them really bad with Crusher Ball, and it just helps. If they don't have a body already on the board, then Crusher Ball is a guaranteed that it's not going to attack. It's really good, and all the yellow in the deck is pretty much 1 costing. Crusher Ball, Cold Bloodlust, Goldo's 1 mana, and then the Mecha Freeze is the only thing that costs 2 yellow, which like Jordan didn't play obviously in his deck, so everything for him costs 1 yellow. So it's just all the yellow are basically just the really efficient yellow cards, because yellow doesn't have the most powerful cards all around, I'd say, like on average, but the cards it does have that are really strong are some of the strongest cards in the game, and that's why this deck just abuses all the most efficient cards in the set 1 meta right now for the most part. The last yellow card is the 10K boost. Ginyu is yellow, so you have to play the yellow 10K boost. You obviously almost never charge this. Actually, I don't think I've ever charged this in a game I've played that I can remember. You play 4 of these, obviously. They're broken. That is the end of the yellow. It is 18 with the 2 Mecha Freezes. Getting into blue, 2 Sensu Beans. So this is where you could go 3 beans. My teammate played 3 beans, 3 Jackos, like how we originally planned. I just went with the Mecha Freezes that day, literally. So 3 beans is fine. I just felt that 2 would be fine too. I'm not that afraid of aggro. I have a decent matchup, I think, just because if they don't kill me really fast, then I can snowball the game in the mid to late game really bad and just take control. And if I have Bloodlust, they can't finish me with hit or something like that. So I'm not really that afraid of aggro. So the 2 bean was good. The 3 would have helped with the colors, because you can obviously use it to untap other colors you need. So that helps a lot, and it's really good on the defense. But it being just not that great late game, and the deck finishing late game most of the time, I just felt I only needed two, and it was one of the cards that if you needed more space, it was one of the cards that you could cut. 2 Jacko. So like I said, originally it was supposed to be 3 Jacko with the no mecha freezes, but I kind of just wanted to have the extra explosiveness. This was obviously better for the combo match, and if you play this, a lot of people never play this on the board. It's actually pretty annoying. The 16K is really annoying. People don't. It's that 1,000 power really matters, and you can still use this combo with him from the board as long as he's not tapped, obviously, and bounce a card. So you can still combo with him from the board. That is a big thing that people don't do or realize. So for the most part, it did sit in my hand or get charged as a mana. But it was just good as a safety net where I could bounce something back to their hand. And I'm almost positive I won a game because of it. I know that I won a combo and didn't die because of it, and I think I won that game. I don't recall. But I do believe that was the series versus Tim that I lost. But I think that I used Jacko game 2, if I remember correctly, to survive. Then blue staple for energy boost Majin Buu. I think this card will probably be played as a 4 of in blue forever. As far as I could tell, like, just draws a card and you can combo with it. Replaces itself 1 mana blue card, just insanely good. I don't see a reason not to play 4 in any deck that has blue. It's just extremely efficient 1 drop, which is why blue is really splashable right now. It has Boo, it has Sensu Bean, and it has this next card, Weezy's Coercion, which is the best negate in the game. So obviously 1 blue and you can untap any mana. A lot of the time you just untap the same mana that you use to use this, obviously, but if you don't have like another one or a Sensu Bean and you have a full power energy or a yellow negate or something, you can untap a yellow or a green, something like that if you need. Just 1 cost, obviously negate, and helps you because you're damaging yourself. You get down to 4 life, sometimes 3-2 life, pretty easy, and then you can just sit there at it. And if you have a ton of cards in your hand, you can just sit on a bunch of negates and just protect yourself along with like your board control stuff. So I like the amount of negates. You could play less. I think you could play probably as low as 6, but I really like having a lot of negates. I don't see a reason to play less. There is a bunch of extra cards in the deck. There's like 19 or something. So that there's a problem there. A lot of the cards you have can't combo, but the extra cards are so efficient at what they do that as long as you play the game correctly, it shouldn't be a problem. You should have card advantage from using your cards efficiently or playing efficiently, or you shouldn't need to have that many combo cards most of the time. It does come into effect sometimes. Last blue card for Beerus. Probably the best blue battle card other than Majin Buu because obviously, like I said, Majin Buu is a staple draw card. Like that's really, really good. But in terms of power and effect, this card is really strong. Kills anything when it's put in play as long as you have 5 mana, 20k double strike. Obviously, you need 5 mana, but other than that, it doesn't really have a downside. You need 2 blue to play it, but it's just like the Mecha Frieza. Except finding 2 blue is usually easier because yellow, the problem is you don't want to charge your cards. You don't want to charge a 10k. You don't really want to charge Crusher Ball. You will if you need to early. Cold Bloodlust, you don't want to charge it unless you have 2. And even if you have 2, it's like the least optimal charge in almost every situation. So you don't want to charge it. Just if that's your only yellow and you need access to a Cold Bloodlust, you might have to charge a second one or something like that. But for the most part, getting down blues is easier because the cards are less important to what the deck's doing. Last but not least, we have green. So like I said, it's 3 colors. 4 full power energy. This card's really good against aggro and stuff, and it's really good against the Broly deck. And good 1 cost negate. That's our 8 negates. We also have Crusher Ball too, but that's not a negate when they're on board and can't use it on the leader. But full power energy just helps clean up the board and, again, help you stay alive. 4 energy power Gotenks. This is a 3-drop. I like this card better than Vegeta. I like that it's green because we need more green. And card's really, really good. If you're playing against a deck that you don't think they have a lot of threats or they can kill it right away, you can play it on 3 and start pressuring them. But just in general, it's better than Vegeta, I think, late game. And discarding a card is a lot more annoying than people think. Yeah, you can discard the worst card and then just take a damage and you're just replacing the worst card in your hand with a random life. But that's only really early game. If we're in the middle of the late game and you're at 3-2 life and I keep attacking with these, like especially if I have 2 of them every turn, it's putting pressure on you where you're losing cards and you can't be taking life at that point. So it's really good late game, and it helps apply pressure to the decks that you need to apply pressure to and get cards out of their hand. Because especially if they need to be comboing too, then they're discarding cards and then comboing, or discarding cards and then negating, stuff like that. And then the second last thing, for Raging Attack or Vegeta, just like Beerus, helps clean something up, helps clean up the board. You can use it on the counter. You can use this and Beerus and just efficiently remove their threats and pressure them. It's one of the better cards in the deck. I love this card. I love Beerus. And then for Super Saiyan Gotenks, best 5-drop in the game, super efficient. So this deck's all about playing the most efficient cards at their mana cost for their colors and everything. Card's super efficient, best 5-drop, untaps 2 mana unless it gets bloodlusted, which is in almost every situation that I've played. I got to untap 2, have an overside 25k that draws a card. It just does so much for a 5-drop, and it's green, which really helps us. Getting into the side deck, I think I side decked once or twice. Didn't really help, didn't really need it. But these are the cards I would side deck again. Probably maybe change it a little bit, but I don't think it really mattered that much. For Goten, against the Broly deck, I might side that in. But I played against Broly, and I ended up not siding it in just because when I played against Tim, game 1, I knew a strategy to play against this deck, because obviously I'm playing the deck, so you kind of see like some weaknesses. And I know Tim's a really good player, but I didn't expect him to, as soon as the get-go, he already knew the strategy was right from the beginning, was about that strategy. So I kind of put myself in a bad position game 1. And then game 2, I came out with a win. And game 3, I was just like, as long as I don't put myself in a bad position, I can win the game. It's not like he just smoked me. So I felt like my main deck is good enough. I didn't really need to change anything. I didn't want to change something and mess up the flow of the deck when I liked how it was playing. Third, Mecha Frieza. I don't think I would ever side this in, really, just in case I wanted to, just have the extra option if I'm not playing against a Bloodlust deck and I wanted to like if I felt like Mech would really abuse them and they don't have Bloodlust, I could put it in. 2 more Beans versus Aggro, or if I just wanted to put that in. 2 more Jacko. If I needed it, just a good side card. 4 Saiyan Vegeta, just like Gotenks can apply pressure. I did side this in the mirror match versus DJ, I believe, and it was pretty good. I took out Jack out of my mid deck and put in Vegeta just to apply pressure. And you can do the same thing. I could have just played Jack and applied pressure, but I wanted the critical. And then 1 Furthering Destruction Champa. I didn't really know what else to put. I mean, I could have put 3 Vegetas and 2 Champas just so like the counts were less awkward on the 1 Champa. I figured I probably would never side it in anyway, but just want another card in the side deck, obviously. And then there is another card, the green Super Rare Goku, Awakening Rage Sun Goku, I believe it's called. I gave it to someone else, so it's not in my deck box, I guess. That was the last card of my side deck. I didn't side deck that in either. I'd probably side that in versus Rush, or a deck that I felt like played a lot of dudes on the board, maybe like a mono blue deck that was playing like Kain Son Goku and Bulma and stuff like that. Just to like clean up the little combo dudes off the board if they were still on the board that late in the game. That's the deck I played. I got top 4 split at my store championship. And if you guys like the video, want more content, just like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be uploading more videos, some feature matches, and some more deck profiles with me and some of my other friends and teammates in the near future.